Have you been collecting your free 2 million GTA dollars? Well, in this video, I'm going to go through how to get between $1 and $2.5 million for free every week-ish, with only an hour of effort and without a post-op van in sight. Now, that actually pays better than almost all of the solo Cayo options at the moment, so this is a decent tip, so, you know.
Keep watching.
Now, there isn't a huge secret glitch or ingenious hack around this. I'm just talking about stash houses. They appeared on the Los Santos Drug Wars update, and loads of players just ignore them. But you really shouldn't, because every real-world day you get a new stash house to raid. Now, raiding them is easy. It takes 1 to 2 minutes at the most. And when you do, you get a free restock for one of your businesses at random. Now, I've been playing for a little while now, so I have all of the businesses, but I never restock any of them anymore. So all of the stock I have in my MC businesses, bunker, and acid lab has come from raiding stash houses. So what I do, I raid the stash house every day and completely ignore what I get. But I make sure I do this every day, and then every week or so, I head over to the master terminal in my arcade and I see what I have. Now, money wise at the moment, I'm sitting on a little over 317 million, which is not too shabby. So let's see how much we can push that up in the next hour. First of all, let's have a look at what I've got in stock. Here's the acid lab. That's not bad, around 2/3 full. Heading over to the master terminal in the arcade, you can see what I've got in the MC businesses and the bunker, and they're pretty well stocked. I've got a decent amount in the bunker. I've got some white stuff, blue stuff, some green stuff, and some dodgy money. Now, for the sake of the video, I'm going to do all of this in an invite-only lobby. Normally, the acid and bunker missions I would do in a public lobby for the high demand bonus. If you don't know what that is, I've done a video on it before, and there's a link to it up in the corner here. Right, first one, and the first rule of selling, because, you know.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, number 1.
Do not register as an MC president yet. The MC businesses get raided more often than Lindsay Lohan's beach house, so if you have stock in them, you don't want to be registered as an NC. So we retire or disband and head over to the first business. Now, because of the raids, I'm going to do the most profitable business first, just in case it happens, and that's the Coca-Cola business. So, rule time.
Number 2.
You do not want the post-op mission. If you've done it before, you know why. Board. And if you haven't, just take my word for it, you don't want it. So how do you avoid the post-op mission, which is arguably the worst sale mission in the whole of Grand Theft Auto Online? Well, it's surprisingly simple. All you need to do is block the area where the post-op vans spawn before you start the mission. You can do this with any vehicle you own, but the Raiju, the Acid Lab, the Terabyte and the MOC are ideal for this. But as I'm going to be using both the Mark II and the Sparrow for this session, I'll just use both of those, that should be enough. Doing this will also usually block the garbage truck mission, which is a bit of a shame because that's quite doable solo. It's long but doable. So what you need to do is learn where the post-op vans spawn for your MC businesses. If you don't know, then next time you get them, take a screenshot and store it, something like that. Now, also this is easier for the businesses when you have quite a lot of stock in them, i.e. when you're going to need multiple sale vehicles. If you're low on stock, you need to be a little bit more careful to make sure you don't leave room for one van. But if you're half full or more, you can fairly clumsily block most of the area. Now, this works every time for me. I have never had the post-op vans spawn when I remember to do this. So, for my cola lockup, the vans spawn along here. So I'll dump the Sparrow here and start the mission up. And already the game is being kind. This is arguably the easiest of all the MC cell missions. All you need to do is floor it. You can completely ignore the chasing bikes. They don't do any damage at all, well, any real damage. It actually pays to keep them in sight, as that stops the new ones spawning in front of you where they can do damage. So, sale done, first cash in the bank, though this is a mission that's easy in a public lobby, so I've missed out on a 50% extra there. And now for the last rule.
And number 3.
As soon as you have finished a sale mission, you need to be spamming the disband option. You need to be out of the MC as soon as possible. Raids are triggered if you have stock in your businesses, but I think there is also some link to the amount of time that's gone past since the last raid. So if, like me, you only start the MC up to sell, then
the actual chances of it are about 1 in...
So spam that disband like it's the pre-mercenaries run button. Now, it's going to get dark soon, and I don't want the seaplane missions in the snowy darkness, so next I'll do the bunker. You could sort of do the same here, but you need a much larger vehicle as they spawn over a wider area. But that said, with only a 2-vehicle sail, I should be able to do any of the missions the bunker gives me. The Marshall one will be tight, so I'm not too bothered. And again, the game is still being kind. This is the easiest of the insurgent missions, and annoyingly, another one that would have been doable solo in a public session. Just drop the insurgents off, and that's another 420k in the bank, bringing our total to... Okay, onto the acid lab. Now, I would always wait until this is full, and I always do this in public sessions because all of the sail missions for this are so easy, but for the sake of the video, we'll let it go with whatever's in there. And again, GTA Online loves me today, another kind mission. My routine for this one is head up to the top of the car park, plant a couple of stickies on the cop cars. You could tell which ones they are, it's either the vans or the cars with the bull bar on the front. Then just head for the ramp, jump off and trigger the stickies as you go. Now talking of stickies, this can often be the stickiest 2-star wanted level in Grand Theft Auto for some reason, so you might want to head to the sewers or up onto the mountains to move it along a bit. Wanted level lost, delivery made, and we're moving on to the counterfeit cash factory. So again, we need to block the post-op vans, and they usually spawn along here, so I'll drop the Sparrow here and the Mark II, and off we go. And it's giving me bikes. Another great solo mission. Ride bike, stash bike, rinse and repeat. Now remember, in GTA Online you can either lean forward on a motorbike to make it go a bit faster and be controllable, or you can pull back to go quite a lot faster but be harder to control. And that's done. And that takes our total up to... Now, we're working down the values here. Remember, we sell the most profitable first. The reason I didn't sell the blue stuff earlier is that the stash house topped it up and I wanted to let it process. So we arrive at the green stuff, and at this point we are getting into optional stuff. I never sell the documents and I rarely sell the green stuff because, to be honest, for the amount that you make, they're just not worth the effort. But it is worth having both businesses for the nightclub. Now, you might have noticed earlier that my document forgery office is full of both product and supplies. The reason I leave it this way is it means I will never get this again from a stash house. So it's worth leaving it like this to make sure that the stash house only gives you things that you want. Anyway, block the post-op spawn areas and launch the mission.
Oh, spin my nipple nuts and send me to Alaska.
Okay, so this mission runs a close second behind the post-op vans. Now, whilst I have since learnt there is apparently a bit of a hack you can do by drinking a load of beer before you get in the truck, but if you didn't know that, which I didn't, you have to drive this whilst distracted. Should we say distracted? Yeah, just distracted will do. And you can imagine how much harder this is in the snow. Oh yeah, and did I mention halfway through you'll get a wanted level that's almost impossible to lose. It can be lost, I have lost it before, but seriously, just get out and kill yourself, it's a lot easier. Especially as for some reason Lester doesn't work on this mission. So, delivery made, that brings our total to... And now we're ready for the last one. Except we're not. Do you remember me saying you had to disband your MC really quickly to make sure you don't get raided? Well... Right, at least that's that dealt with. And now we're ready for the last one, which isn't ready, so a little bit of editing later and look, it's magically ready. So we'll block the post-op vans and start the mission. And it's boats, another easy solo mission. The trick here is to pull back on the left stick when the sea is flat. This makes you go faster, but when the sea is bumpy, you need to push forward when going over the top of the waves, because jumping too high wastes a lot of time. So there we have it. You can see how long we've spent, and we have earned $1.6 million for an hour's work with no investment. Now, had I done all of this in public sessions, that would have given me $2.5 million for an hour's work. Now, that said, I would never do the MC sale mission solo in public, because you can't effectively defend yourself, and your unattended sales vehicles are just easy pickings. But had I just done the acid and the bunker missions in public as I usually do, and the rest in invite only, I would still have brought in $2 million for an hour's work. So by any measure, this has to be the best value hour of selling you can do. So I hope you find this useful. I hope you're all having a great Christmas and New Year. Please do drop a like and subscribe if you found this useful or interesting or both, and I will see you in the next video.